r/AskReddit by Redmond Eats. How did that person in your class become rich? Started online gambling sites back in the 90s. Dropped out of high school. Millionaire by 20. Overdosed by 25. She started working for a little company called Microsoft in the mid-1980s. She retired at 40. Edit. Well, thanks for the platinum. I did not expect this to blow up. Remember the Bitcoin wallet they used to buy drugs with? He started studying solar technology in '88 and now owns a solar installation company in Texas and one in California. He employs close to 200 people. I don't know how rich he is, but I'm really familiar with where he came from and what he overcame to do it all. The guy was constantly reading and tinkering with anything solar related, even when we were in high school. Edit. The main reason I knew about his interests was because from about 7th grade on through till we were seniors we always sat side by side in every class we had together because our last names were the same but we weren't related. Found a video of him live streaming with one of his customers. He makes systems for oil pipelines and irrigation systems as well. A girl from my hometown won an island on a MrBeast video. It was worth millions. She's in the process of selling it currently. Until that money comes through, she's just living life like normal. I imagine that must be a great place to be in, knowing most of your problems are about to disappear but not yet overly intoxicated by money. I was just listening to MrBeast on JRE, and he was saying how the person who won the chocolate factory in his video was given a choice off camera to actually take the factory, or the 500 grand cash. Kind of interesting how he didn't offer the same to this chick. Most people I went to school with who got rich, started rich. Smart guy. A little socially awkward but was a swimmer and in top classes. Went to UCLA, became a doctor, maybe a surgeon. Started to play the stock market for fun. Ran a bulletin board to talk stocks. Turns out he had Asperger and was able to read the stock market signs really well. Made $300 million when the market crashed as he bet against it. Christian Bale played him in the movie about him, The Big Short. Mike Burry. Class of 1989. We knew each other. Not friends but acquainted. Couldn't be happier for the guy. Truly, happy he's done well. Not seen him since we graduated. If I did I'd totally, and jokingly, ask him for some cash. I'd try to make him laugh. He'd probably still be awkward. Did Christian Bale portray him accurately? From the kid I knew at 14-18, no. But I am sure he changed a lot, grew up, so maybe. Mike came off as very arrogant and a bit of a dong to be frank. Once I heard he has Asperger's, which wasn't diagnosed back then, me and my buds from high school were like, oh that makes sense. Probably softened our view of him quite a bit. Lecturer of mine rode the IT wave at exactly the right time and had a damn fine head for business. He was a workaholic at age 30, started a business offering remote tech support which was a new idea at the time, signed on some super big clients who were enamored of the idea, and built a giganto house from the proceeds that pissed everyone off. Sold the business and then died of a heart attack at 45 or so. So yeah, there can be complications. Guy that I grew up hit big with Crocs. His family moved away when I was about 6th grade, but my older brother remained friends with his older brother. I guess the guy worked selling insurance and was offered an opportunity to invest in Crocs, the weird shoes. He went for it and got a few checks back in the 5 to 10 million range. I learned this through my brother, and I think it is true. She got pregnant by a guy whose family is worth 800 million. There's a lot of them that became rich. For most of them they graduated as engineers or medical doctors and simply did their jobs and were rewarded handsomely. But that friend became rich through trades. He took his student loan and bought a piece of very inexpensive land just outside of his city limits. Just by an absolute fluke the city announced shortly after that it planned to expand city limits to include his vacant land. And suddenly it skyrocketed in value. This was at a time before any real internet and before everyone had a cell phone. And there's all these property developers trying to figure out who owns this land so they can buy it. Eventually his mom opens his mail and finds a past due property tax notice and an offer for about 20 times what he paid for it. He took the first offer he got and regretted it and went to a bank and directed them to invest entirely in dividend stocks and for the dividends to be deposited directly into his bank account. He used that money to stay a student for life and basically never worked a day in his life. There was one point where it got close to him needing to get a job. But then one of the companies announced increasing their dividend. I have rich friends, and then there's him. Just living off of his wealth. He doesn't have a great life, but he also doesn't work. Drug dealing ring. And then he got raided and was arrested and was sentenced to 15 years in prison, so you take the good with the bad, I suppose. He dropped out of high school at 15 to be a pro skateboarder. People laughed. He's now worth $50 million. His dad gave him his multi-million-dollar business when he graduated. He royally screwed up, got himself shot and his mistress killed. He got in extremely early on Bitcoin. Like, within the first few days. At one point he had 300 Bitcoin. He sold a good chunk of it in like 2013 when it was like $300 per coin, but he kept 60 or 70, which he still has to this day. He also invested a bunch of money in Tesla on day one, and Nvidia about 10 years ago too. In other words, he's just made super good or lucky financial decisions. They became a lawyer, and married another lawyer. The best wealth story I ever heard was a nerdy computer guy, early internet adopter, realized things like Vancouver.com or Paris.com would be valuable. So he bought up all the city.com websites he could, and just had a landing page that said, "Page for sale, contact me." Bada bing bada boom. Got salmonella from Wendy's chili. I've got two. One guy was extremely gifted in music. I remember my dad going to the talent show and said this guy is going to be the next Jimi Hendrix. Well, not quite, but he has performed plenty of times with Lady Gaga. His name is Ricky Tillo. The other guy did voices in high school all the time. He would hop on the PA system and do cartoon voices. He was recently in the Mario movie as Toad General, and is literally the new voice of Bugs Bunny, and a ton of other popular cartoon guys. Eric Bowser. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more? Have a nice evening.